They taught me in my freshman seminar class at Schoolcraft College how to read a textbook, what my learning style was, how to use a weekly planner, how to take notes in class. Why do we have colleges teaching these kids this to our kids now? Because nobody's doing it anymore. No one does it anymore. So you have to do this. So if you look at this sheet, this is what it means. This is college preparation. Nothing to do with being a student athlete. You have to be a 3+. One parent, 20. We had two kids last year. Dad just emailed me last night. Right? Both played at Grosse Pointe South. Their child's now, and we trained them for a year. I don't take any credit for their grades and their ACT score. They learned this, and the dad thinks I did something good, and I just told them the truth. And luckily, they were a 3-point or better. So right now, both the twin boys, one was All-State Honorable Mention, threw 13, 14, 15 touchdown passes, 9 to his twin brother, blah, 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 which doesn't matter recruiting, by the way. But they're both going to Albion, continue to play college football, and at 25% of the cost of Albion. 75% because Division III doesn't give athletic scholarships, right? They got 75% of their scholarship covered because of everything they've done in the classroom, not the athletic field. It's a nice little chunk of change to take out of your pocket. Now, Coach Williams, he's been in Flint, Cohen, Ainsworth. We talked about last night. He had 64 football players go on to play college. So he's going to tell you just a couple things. You know, like I know some guys are down. I was on Twitter, right? Down in Chicago doing this combine stuff. You got to go pay down and travel to go do this combine that Adidas is throwing out. How important is that? Coach Williams, you can tell them how important that is.
As far as what people think, as far as the college coaches looking at that, you're going to recruit you because you ran a such and such 40 or vertical jump. They really don't even care about your bench press. They're not going to look at that unless you did it on their campus. So if you came to their camp and you went to Michigan State, for example, and ran it at Michigan State, then they're looking at that. But they're not looking at it if you go to different combines. Now, what I recommended to the kids, I took my young kids to the combine, which is what D1 is. The one he's going to run this week, just so they can get used to it. Because they are going to judge you on it. But you don't do it thinking that that's what's, that one time your junior year or your senior year, you're going to run a 40 at one of these open combines. It's when you get in front of them. They want to see how you react, how you play the game, how you change direction, which is everything that we've been teaching you out here. Now, me as a coach, I coached 7 years at Carmen. I don't know if it's 7 or 8 now. But anyway, I counted them up. I believe it was 64 kids total in the Flint area in the last 6-7 years. It's almost 80 in the last 84 in the last 11 years of coaching. So that's about 8 years a kid. 8 kids a year going on and playing college football. And the reason they're getting that opportunity is they took it early on. They started taking pride in what they were doing. And I'm going to be honest with you. What made me reach out to him when I met him is my first year coaching. Central Michigan coach walked into my building. I had a kid. He was 6'2", 280 pounds. He was a monster of a football player. He was all-state. I think he could have went all the way. I took him. Central Michigan walk in. I said, "Hey, coach, I got a kid for you, and I'm ready to show him film. And I'm ready to pop that film." He said, "Coach, show me transcript and ACT." That's my first year coaching. I went from middle school coach to a head coach in high school. So I didn't know no better. I thought it was the film and da-da-da-da. He said, "No, coach," he said, "I need some transcript and ACT." So I went in and got that stuff. I didn't know what his score was. He looked at his transcript, he looked at his ACT, he gave me the tape back. He said, "There's absolutely no reason for me to ever even look at that film, because there's nothing I can do with it." He said, "I don't care if he's all world. I'm wasting my time." So he left, he walked out the door. I never forgot that. So that day forward, as a coach, I made it my business. I said, if a kid has the ability and want to or desire to play college football, he won't be able to look me in my eye and say, I didn't try to help provide him and give him the information needed to get that opportunity. So ever since then, that's when everything started going, where I tried to get him involved in recruiting fairs, academic ACT. I even started an ACT program, which is, he has a great one that I even started my son on. So I'm going to get personal here for a second, parents. I'm in your situation right now. My son's a senior, and he's not a big Division I athlete that can walk through the door and finna get that scholarship. If your son does not go Division I, you're gonna pay something. I promise you that. I played Division II football, and I had to pay something if you do not go Division I. And there's a whole lot of people that don't go Division I. Okay? So my son now, he's going NAIA, which is equivalent of D2, and that money is going to come out one way or another, whether it's loans, whether it's out your pocket, or whether it's out of some type of scholarship. The good thing is academics money is worth more than football. So they gave him his football scholarship. We got that in writing. They gave him his academic scholarship. Gave that in writing. But the thing with his academic scholarship is, let me tell you what 1 point on the ACT will be worth for me right now and my son. 1 point. He go up one more point, they give him another $4,000 a year. So that's $4,000 a year times 4 years, that's $16,000. So 1 point for my son right now is worth $16,000. So do you think that it's real important for him to go in and buckle down and make sure he get his ACT up one more point? And that's the beauty of it. I got kids right now, and I was just talking to a young man earlier. I got a kid that's graduating from Georgetown, one of my ex-players. He can play. He had good film, great film. His size, they say, hey, he's a little too small. He worked out for Grand Valley. He worked out for Saginaw Valley and all them. And boom, they say, oh, he's just not fast enough. Oh, he's too small, whatever. But he had a 3.8, and he had like a 26 ACT. So I called around, called Georgetown. Georgetown said, okay. They flew down, sat in front, at the dinner table, and mamas and daddies, you're going to like this, because of his ACT and GPA, and he wasn't good enough, quote unquote, to play at Eastern or Saginaw Valley or Grand Valley. But they walked in and we signed the paper. Was it $54,000 a year? He don't pay a dime. Not one penny is called football. He got $54,000 a year. He's getting ready to graduate this year. His name is Chad Coleman, played defensive back for me, and that is why it's so important, young man, about taking care of your business. And I'm not pulling your leg, I'm not trying to BS you. This is stuff I know. I'm going through it with my own son, and I just talked to him today. I said, son, I said, get on that computer, get on that ACT, let's get one more point. Because for me, that's $16,000 I can either take a loan out for, or $16,000 that I ain't got to worry about. Either way I go, I got to figure out how to pay for it. So just want to give y'all that information.
So again, remember, college preparation. I don't care if your kid, again, the football is the athletic piece is important, but just understand, your child's college admissions letter comes Christmas time of their senior year. They never see the senior grade. So the first 6 semesters. I want every kid to go research, and every freshman should know what schools I want to go to. I want to go to Michigan. If you're 2.5 your first semester in high school, you're not going to Michigan. You can't say that. Yes, I can. There's 47% of kids that apply to Michigan only get in, and they're all 4.0s. Their average ACT is a 30. Their average GPA is a 3.8. I went to a kid, I said, what do you want to become? I want to become a 3.5 when I graduate. She's a 1.9 as a sophomore. I said, you can't do it. I can show you the math if you want me to dictate where your GPA can go. If you're a 2.5 the first semester, 9th grade, and it's a regular 6-day, 2-semester high school, they need to go 3.33 7 times in a row to become a 3.2. That's guaranteed math. You can't debate it. But no one's telling kids that. You can't get money unless you're over a 3+. That's why I have the 3+ program. That's why if you look at this stuff here, this is all critical of getting a 3. That's how your kids pay for their college of the B. Gotta have a B. C's worth. Okay? If you're going to college or not, playing college football or not. I tell you this, it's hard to be a college student athlete than be a college student. Yeah, the higher the GPA, the more likely you can fulfill your athletic dreams if you have it. But it's okay to say, Mom and Dad, as I'm a senior, and this is what they all want for you. They have all these options on the table and say, Mom, Dad, I have Division III offers and we're paying a little bit of money, or I get to go to Georgetown and not play football and I'm pre-med. I'm going to take Georgetown. I'm pre-med. I'm going to be a doctor. And you make more money than I've ever dreamed about, and just come back as a part of what we do here. Okay? So all we want is you to have opportunity. We have experienced guys that just get no chance. Okay? And Coach Burton can tell you the same story. You guys all know how good Southfield does, and they work the system hard with grades. And I've been to Southfield a number of times, and he played for me at Finley, so we know each other. That's why these guys are all here coaching here. So here's what I did. This is what you just need to read over. Like the learning styles, if you guys don't know your learning styles, go to this website, answer the questions, and a learning style rank you from top to bottom. Like all these are athletes. Should they sit at a kitchen table and turn the light on and turn the radio off and study? Most likely these guys no. Because they're kinesthetic learners. That means they have to move around. So I say, parents, have them walk around the kitchen table. Yes, put a ball in their hand and let them spin it while they study. Okay? Make flashcards in high school. Yes, still do that. Because visual learners and putting that in cut, it's all part of how they learn. Okay? So in this learning style index, you'll know their strengths and their weaknesses. Like I give my kids all the time that guess their worst strength is linguistic. That means reading. They're not very good at that. So you got to find ways to do it. Okay? So learning styles, character, obviously, guys, I'm telling you, characters matters. Service learning. So this is this one I just gave you. This is not you have to do. But if we talk about service learning, why do I say service learning and everybody else says community service? One specific reason. Because when you get to your senior year and they ask you to write your personal essay, because Michigan wants to know who you are, because we had a kid in high school, he's valedictorian, he did nothing in school. He hated the school. He wasn't involved in anything. He got a 4.4 and then a 32 on the ACT. You know what Michigan told him? You can't get in. Because you're not going to make a difference on our campus. Does the ACT dictate college success? No. Why? It's because it's part of the system. They want to see how unique you are as students. So I call it service learning because if your kid does a community service project, you have to ask the question, and students, you got to write down in your journal or somewhere, how did it make me a better person? That's what no one's teaching these kids. Give me a list. So if you just write a list of community service as you guys go to your senior year and say all the things I do great, guess what? Everybody does great things in community service. By definition, you do great things. Right? So everyone's the same. What schools want to see is, how did you become a better person because you did it? How can you come to our campus and make our campus different? Just read the reports. That's what all these guys are doing in admissions counseling now. They want to see someone unique. So we talked about this last week. So if y'all don't know, I mean, I'm sure you guys in Michigan know, right? So Coach Carr, personally, his grandson, has brain cancer. So you saw the picture. My dad personally goes to Michigan Cancer Center. So I just made a decision that if we talk, we're coaches. You can't just coach and say, I told you to do this 100 times. That's why we're out there showing these guys. We coached them, told them that we're showing them. So I want to make sure you leave here knowing we're showing you. We didn't buy you bags, we didn't buy you t-shirts. We bought you one of the greatest books ever written. If you've never read it, I guarantee it should be a life changer for you. I had the pleasure of seeing this gentleman speak one time. If you're a coach or a parent, Coach for America is a website that Joe has. And then he got another book, Inside Coaching. I just bought that with this, so I get to read that. Okay? He talks about these men being the men of others, and how we need to tell them they love them, and how they need to have emotions and be good men. So I bought it because everybody I talk to, you need to read this book as a high school player. Okay? You don't have to do this, but if you choose to do a community service project, you can say, I was part of the readathon. You don't have to sell candy because that makes you fat and brought your teeth out. Okay? And then if you choose to send it to Michigan, we're going to send it to the Cancer Center. And then if you do Michigan State, Coach Jones is going to send it to Lacey, the girl who passed away, was a basketball player. She now has a fund. Okay? And I always talk about kids. Why do I get mad at you guys when you're out there being lazy? Because you have the ability to be out there. You're not in the hospital. You're not sick. You're not like all these other kids that have cancer and they can't do the stuff we get to do. And you have great parents who support you. You have to give back. Okay? So if you choose to do this, pick a week. So you know how to do it. Straight pledges, give me $5, or you do page per week. Pick a week and say, I'll read this many pages, and pledge per dollar or penny per, say dollar, $1 per, a penny per page or whatever. Okay? And you want to turn it into us, we'll send a check representing you and your parents and us at Score 6 to Michigan, and the Michigan State, whatever side you put the money in. Okay? Positive sign for you guys, especially you juniors and sophomores, as part of your community service you can jot down. One of the things you need to make sure you do, and this is between you and your parents, I may ask you privately, when you did that and you read the book, how did it make you a better person? Okay? Does that make sense? So that's our gift to you. We appreciate everything. Had a great time out there. When I yell like that, I just got to get y'all off your base. I just had fun doing it. Okay? Because that's how you got to be, and the pressure's on. And you guys are quarterbacks. And you told you want to take the girl to prom, that prom queen, you better be the guy making the completions, not the interception. She won't go.